What is up, ladies and gentlemen? In this video, I wanted to talk a little bit about a character that I have mixed feelings about, and that is obviously Tory. Her introduction in Season 2 was perfect. No problems with it. I thought it was a great introduction. It was a nice little inverse of, Ali with an I, Tory with a Y. It was a nice little inverse of that, and I really enjoyed it. And I think throughout Season 2, I really enjoyed Tory's character and what she brought to the show. She definitely was not just a kick-ass, badass kind of female, but she knew how to hold her own. And it was quite clear from her conversation with Aisha, who I hope returns at some point. She is not afraid to get down and dirty, if you know what I mean. And what I mean by that is the bracelet technique. Now, this show has a habit of planting a seed to which be used later on. So when she's talking about how some creepy guy tried to grab her at the mall, she used the bracelet to ward him off. And then at the end of the season, that Chekhov's gun scenario is used when she tries to use it on Sam. And, ultimately, I think throughout Season 2, I really enjoyed Tory. I sympathized with her quite a lot. She was quite a cool character. And a lot of her points I agreed with. Now, as far as the Season 2 finale goes, we got a kick-ass fight because of her actions. But I don't think causing a whole school brawl was probably the right way to go about it. Now, again, this ties into who's at fault for it. But, everyone can have a finger pointed at them regarding the situation. But in particular with Tory, and especially this season, I feel like you can sympathize with her a lot. You can really understand why she's doing the things she's doing. And the scenes with her and her family, and her trying to work two jobs just to try and make ends meet, warding off that creepy guy in her block, trying to lay low after the school fight pretty much, and trying to, get her GD. I forgot what it was called. It was I think it was an educational thing. She's trying to get that. She's still trying to make sure there's enough support at home for her sick mother, her younger brother, presumably. It's all that kind of stuff. And seeing Kreese take a shine to her is very poetic in a way, because he understands that she's a natural born fighter, his words. And I feel like Tory and Kreese will definitely have a father-daughter kind of relationship. And no, I do not think she's related to Kreese or Silver. I just want to say that. She's not related to Kreese or Silver. I don't think that. Let me just say that again. But I do feel like Kreese sort of sees her as like a sort of daughter figure to kind of look out for. And Tory sees him potentially as a father figure, especially after he steps up to the mark. And, in a very, very sinister way, he puts his cigarette cutter around the guy's finger. I was like, damn, steady on, John. But the bond between them is very good, and it's very sympathetic. And, if we weren't as attached to characters like Miguel, some of us even Robbie or Dimitri or Hawk or Johnny or Daniel, I think we could really side with Kreese and Tory here. And, he comes through for her, deals with the guy. She comes back to the dojo and gives the Cobra Kai dojo some much needed grit, because without Hawk, and with Miguel in the hospital, I think Kreese really recognized, especially from Season 2, that Tory is an asset to not just the dojo, but his way of Cobra Kai. She's an asset. And as soon as she's introduced, the look that he gives Johnny is like, oh, okay, that's a couple of bright prospects in the bunch. Now, we get to the part of the season where I'm not really... This is my problem with Tory, is those scenes and stuff that I've just mentioned make me sympathize with her. I empathize, I completely understand why she does the things she does. However, she's tried to kill Sam, okay? Let's just put it into perspective. She's tried to kill Sam, and then it gets to the arcade brawl, and then she's hunting Sam down, and then it gets to the house fight, and she's like, this ends tonight! And I'm just sat there thinking to myself, and, you guys can comment down below your thoughts on this. I'm sat there thinking to myself, what ends tonight? What are you talking about? What are you on about? What? Like, look, you got cheated on, okay, alright, but you're trying to kill someone. Okay, let me say it again. You tried to kill someone, and now you're actively probably trying to do it again, and then you try and do it again. It's just like, whoa. And then the part that confuses me is when Kyla's crew joined Cobra Kai, And Hawk goes absolutely ballistic on Brooks, beating him, beating the living daylights out of him. She looks like she's showing a bit of, what's the phrase for it? A bit of reservation in her emotion kind of thing. She's looking like, oh my god, what did they do to piss him off? Or she has like this sort of look on her face of remorse, and it's just in those kind of moments where you feel maybe Tori's still in there, but it's kind of confusing because of what she's trying to do to Sam. So I genuinely feel like she might need some actual help, just because she's really struggling to sort of do everything by herself, and presumably from a young age she's had to be independent, she's had to be strong. And then the scene that she sits down with Miguel outside the restaurant, one of us gets hurt, we all get hurt, but no one else got hurt, exactly as Miguel said. Who else actually got hurt? I mean, yeah, okay, Hawk got put in a trophy case, Tory got cheated on and kicked over a railing bit, but Miguel got almost nearly paralyzed and in the wheelchair. She kind of found a way to make it about herself, and I wasn't really a fan of that. But the one thing that I can't question is Tory is big on loyalty. Very big on loyalty. And in Season 2, it was quite clear that not only was she envious of what Miguel wanted for him and Sam, but she was kind of envious that she wanted something like that for herself. And the fact that she pretty much had it, but always felt like she was playing second fiddle to Sam and in competition. Because let's be honest, as great as Sam and Robbie were and Miguel and Tory were, it was mostly rebound season. I mean, Miguel clearly had unfinished business with Sam, same thing, and Tory and Robbie, both rightfully so, feel like rebounds. And I can sympathise with them in that respect, because it's kind of a hard blow to take. And then, you kind of get to the dream sequence of when Tory and Sam are duking it out in the Miyagi-Do. And then we just go straight to where Robbie's about to join Cobra Kai, and he's not sure. He goes with them on the snake mission. And she kind of has a way of seduction, where it works with Robbie. Robbie's kind of thing is, he's influenced a lot by the people around him. Tory is definitely going to be someone that has a major impact on a lot of what Robbie does next season. And I always tie it back to that video I did where Tory and Robbie are different but same. And they both are, in that sort of that room. I've forgotten what it's called, but it's pretty much where Robbie goes after he leaves juvie. And then she tells him to sign out some bit on the form. They never come and check. They can relate to each other that way. There's a lot of relatability between the two of them. And I feel like either Tory's going to bring out the worst in Robbie, or Robbie can bring out the best in Tory. Or vice versa. Maybe Tory could have a change of heart. You never know. But I have very mixed feelings regarding Tory's character. Like, I think every good show needs good villains. And the great thing about this show is that every character almost has a kind of grey centre. But I think the beauty of putting people like Kyler in Cobra Kai is, while Kyler's funny, if I don't pass trig this semester, Dad's going to shit in my mouth, that kind of stuff, you don't need to redeem everyone. As I've said before, the only person that I can honestly see being redeemed now is Robbie. Other than that, I feel like we need some kind of characters that really coincide with Kreese's philosophy to give us someone other than Kreese to go against. Now, we know Silver's coming next season. Well, we don't know, but it's more or less kind of, I mean, come on. But it does feel like Tory is set up to be like the next protege of Kreese, if you will, with Robbie being like the main student. So Robbie and Tory are literally going to be Kreese's new foundation for Cobra Kai. You got the bad girl and you got the bad boy. Like, it's a perfect mix. It's a perfect combination for Kreese. He'll have a field day with those two, and training them and sort of seducing them and, just sort of basically manipulating them to his advantage. Now, someone asked me, do I think Tory will be redeemed in any sense? I mean, it's possible. This show could do it. But it's not one thing that I'm holding my breath out for. I think if Chosen can be redeemed in a sense, then so can Tory. But it's not something that I'm actively holding my breath out for. Robbie's redemption, oh hell yeah. But Tory, I feel like, could be just a character where maybe we get her help. And it's not that she's crazy, but just like some anger therapy or something like that. Not going around causing house fights or school fights. Because it feels like what I don't want Tory to fall into is the trap of being the catalyst for every single fight that happens. You know, she's the catalyst for the fight at the disco that almost started. She's the catalyst for the fight at the school. She's the catalyst for the house fight. And she's not the catalyst for the arcade fight, but the minute she comes in, the dynamic shifts and everything changes. So I am kind of hoping that Tory has more to offer, and we really explore a lot of her backstory next season, and we really start to see her motivations, why she does the things she does. And, you know, we get to know her on a kind of deeper level, and we really sort of get down to the nitty gritty about what Tory actually wants and where she's going and what she strives for. What does she want from life? And I feel like at the moment all she wants from life is to provide for her family, her sick mother, her little brother, make ends meet. And I feel like Kreese coming along and helping her is sort of like the father figure she needs. And, you know, again, I said it about role models. The role models that you look up to are important. If you look up to a role model like Kreese, while honourable as his intentions are, you're going to end up down a similar path to him. If you honour a role model like Mr. Miyagi, you might live a much, you know, just happier life for yourself. You know, it's all about who you choose to look up to kind of thing. But I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say regarding Tory. I feel like there's a lot of sympathy that can be thrown Tory's way. I feel like we can all relate to Tory quite a lot. And, you know, we can really sort of side with a lot of her decisions, I guess. And we can understand why she does the things she does. I'm not 100% on every decision that she does. You know, I feel like it's kind of, you know, either A, selfish, B, entitled, or C, it's kind of like all about her and no, you know, everyone else be damned kind of thing. And that the only reason that is because it ties into the way she's been living her life of basically fighting by herself. So it's not necessarily her fault. She's just a product of her environment, and I feel like that's a lot of the problem with the characters in the show. Well, not the problem, it's a good problem to have. It's just I feel like that's definitely the reason why Tory does a lot of the stuff she does. But hey man, she threatened my boy Hawk, you know, so I'm on Hawk's side. But yeah, I've definitely got some theories about what Tory could potentially do to Hawk next season as revenge. But even then, you know, she did threaten Hawk, but let's not forget, Miguel also switched sides, so she's definitely going to be targeting both of them. And shout out to Dimitri for squaring up, saying, you know, he won't have to. He's got friends watching it for him. And that's what Cobra Kai doesn't have, is they're just students. Miyagi-Do, Eagle Fang, whatever you want to call it, they're actually friends. Mitch, he's friends with Hawk. Bert, he was friends with Eli. You know, it's Miguel, Dimitri, and Eli were friends from the beginning. You know, it's not like it's just a bunch of other students. Chris and Mitch, they're friends. Bert and Nate, they're friends. You know, they're all friends. And now they're all back together. But I will say this, Tory is definitely one of the most kick-ass fighters in the show, for sure. She's ruthless, aggressive, and, you know, downright dastardly. You know, whatever she wants, she's going to go and get it. Like, she's got drive and determination. But yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say about it. Some of you guys have been asking me to do a video about Tory, so here you go. Hopefully you're not too disappointed. Hopefully there's a lot of good dialogue open up for discussion. I want to thank you guys once again. You've been killing it with the support. It's been amazing. And yeah, this ends tonight. I was like, damn. I mean, when I was watching that the first time, I was like, what are you talking about? Alright, okay, look. Miguel and Sam, they clearly got back together, but you knew that anyway. You know? I feel like she's just kind of looking for any reason to go and kill Sam. But hey, you know, Sam had to overcome her fear. Tory made a threat to Hawk. But there's a lot on the line for Tory, you know. She's got a lot to deal with, so that there are balanced opinions with that, and there's a lot to take into consideration with her character. But I'll see you guys down in the comments below. I'm interested to hear what you have to say. And in the meantime, now the real pain begins, Danny boy.